We have team coverage of what's going on here in downtown Providence. This is outside the Providence Police Mall, but many of the crowd going to the Rhode Island State House, where a peaceful protest has been planned and is taking place right now. It started at Central High School in Providence, went to Kennedy Plaza, and now on to the State House. And
just moments ago, our Kim Clooney, who is in the middle of this crowd at the State House, told us that she's hearing from State Police and Providence Police that they haven't seen a crowd like this since the Women's March. She said the Women's March was about 9,000 people. This is larger than that, according to State Police.
And they're doing this to demonstrate against the death of George Floyd. As we mentioned, it started at the high school, started by two teenagers, and obviously people got the message. We got live team coverage for you tonight. Kim Clooney and Caroline Goggin are live at the State House. Sheena Losciuto is live above Providence, monitoring all of the action.
But first, we want to go live to Eyewitness News reporter Courtney Carter, who is also tracking as people come to this protest and leave, because there's just not enough room for everyone on the State House lawn. Is that right, Courtney?
Yeah, that's right, Shannon. Actually, I want to pan and show you guys something different here. As you'll see, it's white coats. Local doctors and nurses and medical experts, excuse me, saying with signs like, "You clapped for us, now we kneel for you," signs saying "White coats for Black lives," and "Racism is a public health crisis." Now again, thousands of people here, and you can tell they're starting to chant and clap. If you can hear behind me, and I'll have you take a look here at what's going on. Again, you see people turning around and walking back. From what I heard, it's not because they don't want to be here. It's just that it's so many people here, there's simply no more room. Mike and Shannon.
Courtney, we actually had a story last night of doctors during the morning shift and the changeover at the night shift outside Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, with signs saying the same thing. Of course, so many people were cheering on doctors and nurses during the COVID-19 pandemic, and now it sounds like they're doing the same thing for this movement.
Right, so they're returning it. They're acknowledging and saying, and all those signs there, and like you said from last night, saying that during this pandemic, people of all races and ages clap for them. They showed support to them, sent cards, letters, sent food, and now they're saying they're out here and they're in their coats saying that we're going to stand by you now. It's our turn.
The other powerful image that we've seen are police officers, state police officers, taking a knee, praying with the protesters and holding on to each other to show a sign of solidarity, Courtney.
Yes, definitely. Although I'm a little bit further away from where Kim is, I have heard of that from people out here, and it's just they're coming together. You know, they're proud of that unity on both sides, and that's what it's all about here. So hopefully that just continues into the evening.
And Courtney, you were telling us earlier that you keep hearing people are stopping. They see a news crew, especially at a protest like this, and they want to stop and they want to talk to you. What are you hearing from protesters as they walk by?
Well, I'm getting, as you may have seen before, people are interrupting during this live broadcast because they're desperate to get their message across. And that message is simply, I don't want to be killed. I don't want my family member to be killed. I don't want my friend to be killed, my boyfriend, my husband, just because of the color of their skin. And they're saying that they don't want to be executed anymore just for simply existing. And that's the message that's been across the board here.
We talked last hour earlier today, Black Lives Matter, and the governor holding a news conference. Brother Gary Dantzler talking about how he really wanted to see change and work not just with the governor, but local police departments and really bringing in change. You've done many stories with them. Tell us a little bit about how they're going to try and bring change, not just to the state of Rhode Island, Courtney, but really all across the country.
Well, I mean, from talking to them this week, they're putting together an action plan and just talking about things they want for the black community here in Rhode Island. But it's not just the black community, as we've talked about and you've seen. There's different races all out here, different ages, different races. They want us all to work together. That's the common theme, is unity and community. So it's not just about just black people and the betterment of that community. It's about working together, finally acknowledging each other, finally listening, being heard. And there's a lot of that going on this week, and they want that to continue.
Courtney, thank you. All about that dialogue, as we said the other night during our 12 town hall with members of the black community, how important this dialogue is, and to keep talking. Courtney Carter, thank you so much. And now we want to go to Eyewitness News reporter Kim Clooney, and she is right at Caroline Goggin, excuse me. She is right in the mix of this at the State House. Caroline?
Well, Shannon and Mike, we're joining you outside the Providence Police Mall. You can see the Rhode Island State House behind me, and you can also see some of the crowd is starting to disperse at this point. Probably a couple hundred people have left the rally at this point, but again, it has been a peaceful protest so far. Providence Police and the organizers of this protest said that's exactly what they wanted. You can see members of Providence Police right now stationed outside the Providence Police Mall with these barricades up, with parts of the mall boarded up, and again, that was all in response to Monday night into Tuesday morning's riots and protests that took place here. But today, again, everything has remained peaceful. We've been walking around kind of surveying this crowd to see what exactly the vibe and the theme of today is. And as Courtney alluded to, it's a theme of unity. As we were walking down from the hill on the left side of the State House, I saw a black family and a white family standing next to each other. Both mothers were taking their sons. They had to be all of 3 or 4 years old, and they were having them introduce themselves to each other and to play with each other. And that's what this night, from the protesters you speak to, that's what this is all about at this time, a sense of unity and strength in light of what's been a trying couple of weeks, not just for the city of Providence, the state of Rhode Island, but really for the entire country. Mike and Shannon, back to you.
There Monday night into Tuesday morning, and you saw how violent it got. Much different today. Speak about the two differences.
Yeah, Mike, you know, Monday was just a disheartening scene here in the city of Providence. We were actually in this exact spot on Monday night. It was about 11:50, and the protesters started to come out, and it seemed peaceful for about 10 minutes or so. And within those 10 minutes, everything turned violent. So this is a much different scene here in the city of Providence. It's a welcome scene, and when you talk to protesters, that's what they wanted this to be. They did not want Monday into Tuesday morning to escalate into what it ended up becoming, which was a riot. They wanted this type of peaceful protest for their city, and it's good news to see this happening so far and to see these thousands of people out here without any incident that we know of as of this point.
Caroline, we were just talking about the dialogue and how important that is, and you mentioned that really beautiful moment between two families of two different colors. What other dialogue are you seeing between the protesters themselves? Because you have to imagine in a crowd this big, not many people know each other.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, Shannon? It seems like everyone is taking a moment to introduce themselves to the people that are standing next to them. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what age you are. They're just trying to take the time to have this sense of unity with one another. At 5 o'clock, I introduced you to a man by the name of Harrison Tuttle. He is 20 years old. He is going to URI this fall, and he is a young black man. And he said right now he is angry and he is outraged, but he wanted to come out here today with his mother, who is white, because he wanted to show her and he wanted to show the world what people can do when they protest, to call for change. And that was his message out here today. So really, everyone has seemed at this point to get along, working together, not working against one another.
And educators will tell you that that's a teachable moment with the mother and son being out there. All right, Caroline Goggin, thank you very much for that. And we have a team of reporters out there. You know, we're trying to get a look at what is happening at the Rhode Island State House. Caroline says she can see some people actually leaving. I got a feeling there's no more room for anybody at the Rhode Island State House. Right.
There was supposed to be a speaking portion of this, and our Kim Clooney was there for that. Let's head to her. Kim?
Hey, Mike and Shannon, yeah, I think that speaking program is underway. There's just so many people here that it's really hard to hear, but occasionally we hear some cheers and applause erupting from the crowd here behind us. I'm going to step out of the way, take a look. This is a great vantage point of just how many people are here out on the State House lawn. As I reported earlier, I checked in with police, and they believe this is larger than the Women's March that happened here in Rhode Island, which was about 9,000 people. So right now, according to police, we've got upwards of 9,000 people who are taking part in this youth-organized Black Lives Matter rally here in Providence. And I spoke with two of the young women who helped to organize this on Facebook. They say they cannot believe the outpouring of support, and they do believe that their generation, Gen Z, is going to be the change in America. And again, the whole point of this protest tonight is to be peaceful. We have seen a lot of security here, Providence Police, State Police, and the National Guard. Actually, we're seeing some people helping someone up who just fell over there. I was just making sure she was okay, but she's all right. So everyone is here in an attitude of peace and unity. I don't know if we can go to this tape, but earlier today, we did see members of the group here protesting, praying together with Rhode Island State Police, calling for unity, for a peaceful and safe night, both for the protesters and for the officers here who are trying to keep everything status quo. As I mentioned earlier, during the 5 o'clock hour. We have seen a lot of security, highway exits blocked by state police, no parking allowed around the State House. Officers are keeping people away from the State House building itself. But take a look at this crowd. Hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands of people standing here together in solidarity, having this so far very peaceful protest here in Providence tonight. Back to you.
You know, Kim, you talked about that moment, we showed it at 5 o'clock, of state police and protesters praying together. And we heard from Caroline just now about moments that she's seeing happening. And those are moments that we can't describe with numbers of how many protests there are and barricades. Can you tell us about any of the moments that you've seen just standing there?
Yeah, I mean, so that moment that you mentioned, Shannon, where the protesters initiated this prayer circle with the Rhode Island State Police who were here, that happened within the first hour that we were here at the Rhode Island State House. There weren't very many protesters here yet. As we know, they gathered first at Central High School in Kennedy Plaza and then marched here. So it was a small, really intimate moment. And I have to say, it gave me goosebumps to see it happening and to sort of set the tone for what the point of this protest is here tonight. Peaceful, united, nonviolent, and just calling for change, and for both the police and these Black Lives Matter protesters to see eye to eye and to hear the message of this protest here tonight. We also, my colleague and photographer Andy Paskowski got this great photo of these small children talking to police and saying hello to them as this all began. So it's really, there's a lot of moments for that, and we're looking out for those as this, as that's the point of this, right? People coming together and trying to understand one another a little bit better.
You know, Kim, that's the other message that is also here today is sometimes little children are afraid of police officers, and to actually see that and the police officer on his knee talking to them and engaging with them, yeah. I think that's going to be important for them moving forward.
Yeah, it was a sweet, tender moment. They were actually giving each other some fist bumps. So I think they were excited to meet that officer, and he, of course, obliged, got down on his knee, talked eye to eye, face to face with them. So those moments really, for us here, set the tone of this whole evening, and we hope that that tone continues as the sun sets and throughout the night.
We've been covering the Providence protest happening right now, Black Lives Matter protest, upwards of 9,000 people, more than 9,000 people estimated by police. We're really showing you history of what's happening here, not just in the state of Rhode Island, but in downtown Providence, too. So many people going to the State House to protest the death of George Floyd, young and old. As we've said before, it started by teenagers at Central High School, but I don't think they realized how big this would be. It has been completely peaceful so far, unlike what we saw on Monday night. Let's go live to Eyewitness News reporter Courtney Carter. She is in downtown Providence. She has been covering this, and she's going to join us now live with a local doctor. Courtney?
Yeah, Mike and Shannon, I was just talking to you guys a few minutes ago about medical professionals being out here in support of the movement, holding signs like racism is a public health crisis. And I'm here with a local doctor, Dr. Tomorrow, is that correct?
That's correct.
No, he's with Brown Medicine and Rhode Island Hospital.
Yes.
Now, why are you out here today?
Well, a lot of us take care of the most vulnerable people in our community, and racially motivated violence is just one of those medical conditions, a public health crisis, and we feel we all are responsible for it, together as well as individually.
And so, all the people that are out here today, thousands of people, are you surprised at this, or did you expect this kind of unity today?
I'm surprised at the, and I don't want to use the word that gets overused a lot, is diversity, but there are people from all different backgrounds. There are older people, younger people. It's great to see everybody together.
And lastly, why do you think it's important that public health officials are maybe involved in this movement or are aware of injustices in the public health crisis and system?
Well, we have a voice, and we have a responsibility to our patients and to the people that we serve to look after their health, and this is just one thing that we can do to express outrage and concern about the way violence treats folks and robs them of life and productive years. And so we want to just share our voices.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So you heard it right here from a local doctor. Told you they're out here. A lot of them out here in white coats on their time, joining this movement, all in here together to show support. Mike and Shannon.
All right, Courtney, thank you very much. We're going to get to Caroline Goggin in just a second. The doctor mentioned something. He said diversity. You did a 12 town hall with Courtney earlier this week, and that's something that came up.
It did. We spoke with 4 members of the black community here locally, and it was an honest discussion. It was dialogue, which is what this Black Lives Matter movement is about as well, is keeping that conversation going. And it was really important to just talk and hear, and what Courtney's been saying this whole time since she's at this protest, and what the protesters have been saying, is they want to be heard, and they want their worries and their concerns acknowledged. And that's what this is about. And to see diversity at a protest like this makes you think that that acknowledgement's happening, because it's people from all walks of life saying, you know what, I hear you, and I'm going to be here to support you. And
they were there today. By the way, you can watch that town hall on our website, WPRI.com. It's there right now. Let's go live out to Eyewitness News reporter Caroline Goggins. She's kind of in the middle of all of this. Caroline?
I have them in the background.
I'll have you. Hey guys, I'm joined by these 2 protesters right now who are out here tonight at the Rhode Island State House. I want to just talk to you guys. We got a group of friends here together. I want to talk to you guys about what today was like. This afternoon, I think, it's a welcome afternoon for people here in Providence. What was it like for all of you to be out here?
To be honest, I came out here to have a speech about what happened a few days ago. So, my name is Terrell Pachi. I am a 23-year-old and I am a Providence firefighter, and I have been a firefighter for 3 years. I was initially signed to Messer Street, and now I'm been at Broad Street for a couple of years. The other day I was outside the fire station with my friend. She was dropping off food, and we were talking. And at approximately around 11:30 p.m., 2 cops converged on the car. I was dressed in full uniform, and I had my radio on and in hand. Both officers got out the vehicle immediately and drew their guns. The officer on the driver's side started screaming, "Where's the gun? Is there a gun? Where's there a gun?" And I was like, "I'm a firefighter. I'm PFD. I'm one of you. I'm a firefighter." And they still kept approaching the vehicle, guns drawn. As I attempted to exit the vehicle, the officer yelled to get back in. And I continued to exit the vehicle, and I was pledging, "I'm a firefighter. I'm one of you. Don't shoot."
It's obviously this is an emotional moment.
The white cop then asked again, after identifying me as a Providence firefighter, "Is there a gun in the vehicle?" And I said, "I'm not allowed to carry a firearm while I'm on duty. I'm an essential worker, and I'm not breaking curfew." As the white cop saw what was progressing, he told the black cop to move on and get out the way. The black cop left hastily, and as I watched, a third patrol car left the scene. The white officer then asked in turn if he could search the vehicle, and the driver consented to a search. The officer then searched the passenger side, never checked the driver's side, nor did he ask for identification. He then proceeded to continue on and search the back. He then stated that due to the amount of stuff that's in the back, he doesn't want to make a fuss and inconvenience us with our time. He then hastily got in the vehicle and drove on. At approximately 3:00 a.m., a police sergeant came by himself to the fire station. The police sergeant stated that he received the body cam footage of the incident that took place of the 2 police officers and myself outside the fire station, and he wanted to apologize for what the 2 officers had done. But yet, the 2 officers were not present. Sincerely, firefighter Terrell Pachi.
Terrell, you are a Providence firefighter, and as you detail a victim of racial profiling on Monday, earlier this week, how do you feel tonight? You've got a crowd of people surrounding you, and you've got a crowd of people up there who are speaking to social injustice in our country. How do you feel?
All it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing, and we can't do nothing. We can't let them take over. We can't let them entice violence. We got to entice peace. We got to have peace. Even though I was encountered by violence, I'm not going to go out there. I came out here and I did this job to protect my city.
What is your message for people in the city of Providence tonight and throughout the state of Rhode Island?
Like I said before, all it takes for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing.
Well, thank you so much. Again, a Providence firefighter who detailed a moment earlier this week where he himself says he was a victim of racial profiling here in the city of Providence. This crew of people here, out here right now, supporting him. Thank you so much.
Which Steve? 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 I'm sorry. Steve?
Have you ever seen a crowd like this here in Providence, Chief?
No. For public assembly, I've never seen a crowd this big. It's at least up to 10,000
people. Beautiful crowd. The organizers were true to their word. And Gary's been a dear friend of mine for years, even before he was involved in the organization of Black Lives Matters. He's one of the organizers for this event. They stayed true to their word. And we knew tonight from 4:30 to 8 or so would be a largely, an entirely peaceful event. And it is. It's a beautiful crowd with a strong message.
10,000 people you're estimating.
I think so, yeah.
So how do we keep the city safe as the sun sets, Chief?
That's the challenge. I gave it a roll call. I gave clear direction. From 4:30 to 8 o'clock, we would have one mode of operation, laid back, a soft approach. From 8:30 on, it will be different because of what happened right here Monday night. And I mean that, look, we're not going to start enforcing the curfew at 9:01 p.m., but we can't afford to have what happened on Monday night again, not only here, but elsewhere through the city. That was not a protest. That
is Hugh Clements, the police chief in the city of Providence, with Clooney.